There are moments in life, aren't there, when the ground beneath your feet simply gives way. You feel a tremor, then a crack, and suddenly, everything you thought was solid crumbles into dust. Perhaps it's a diagnosis that steals your breath, a financial storm that washes away your security, or a heartache so profound it leaves an ache in your very bones, a kind of spiritual fracture that no earthly balm can soothe. You find yourself adrift, lost in an unsettling silence, surrounded by the wreckage of what was, desperately searching for a lifeline in a vast, empty sea. You've tried everything you know. You've consulted friends, sought expert advice, worked tirelessly, perhaps even reasoned with yourself, trying to intellectualize away the pain or strategize your way out of the crisis, until exhaustion set in. But nothing shifts the immense, suffocating weight pressing down. Every logical path seems blocked, every door slammed shut, and the promises of self-help and human ingenuity ring hollow in the face of such overwhelming reality. Your strength, once so reliable, has shattered into a million pieces, leaving you utterly spent, utterly helpless, and perhaps for the first time, utterly honest with yourself about your own limitations. In those moments, when every human solution has dried up, when the well of your own resilience runs empty, when your carefully constructed world lies in ruins around you, where do you turn? What happens when your very soul, stripped bare of all pretense and capability, lets out a silent or perhaps not so silent scream for an intervention you simply cannot provide for yourself? It's a profound place of ultimate surrender, isn't it? A humbling realization that you are at the end of your own resources, looking for something, someone, beyond the visible, beyond the tangible, beyond anything you've ever known or experienced in the natural realm. This isn't a casual request, whispered politely at bedtime. This isn't a routine prayer recited out of habit or obligation, a quick mention of needs before drifting off to sleep. This is something far more profound, something deeper, more elemental. It's the raw, visceral, guttural cry that erupts from the deepest core of your being. It's the plea born from desperation, from utter brokenness, when you finally look upward and allow every fiber of your existence to ache with a longing for divine help, a rescue from an unseen hand. It's the kind of cry that David, the psalmist, knew so well and poured into words in his desperate laments, calling from the depths, pleading with a God who is both mighty and near, yet sometimes feels so very distant. He cried out when his enemies pressed in, when his spirit was overwhelmed, when his own strength failed, just as Psalm 142 tells us, "I cried out to the Lord with my voice. With my voice I made supplication to the Lord." This isn't just about uttering words. It's about the soul's primal declaration of utter dependency. It's when your spirit, beleaguered and bruised, gives up trying to control the uncontrollable and simply begs for grace. It's when you lay bare your complete inability, your absolute need, recognizing that only a power greater than yourself can possibly mend what is broken, restore what is lost, or bring light into your impenetrable darkness. It's not just an intellectual acknowledgement of God, it's an emotional and spiritual implosion, followed by an explosion of desperate hope directed heavenward. What actually happens in those sacred shattering moments, when that desperate plea, whether expressed in a tearful whisper or a guttural shout, leaves your lips and reaches beyond the veil of what we can see or touch? What is the tangible, immediate, and lasting response when your heart, in its most vulnerable state, truly cries out to God, not as a last resort, but as the only resort? How does heaven respond to a soul laid bare? So we've just explored that raw, desperate moment when everything crumbles, and you find yourself crying out from the very depths of your being. But what is this cry exactly? Is it just a louder version of your usual prayers? No, my friend. It's something far more profound, far more revealing about the human spirit and our relationship with the divine. It's an anatomy of a true cry, a look into the very essence of what makes this act so powerful and so different from merely speaking words to God. It's not about volume, nor is it about eloquence or how perfectly you phrase your request. It's about the posture of your heart, the complete and utter honesty that rips through the veil of pretense we often wrap ourselves in. This true cry begins with vulnerability unveiled. Think about it. Most of our lives, we strive to be strong, capable, independent. We build walls around our weaknesses, presenting a composed face to the world, even to ourselves. We tell ourselves we can handle it, that we're resilient, that we don't need help. But the true cry to God marks the moment when all those defenses finally crumble. It's when ego, pride, and self-sufficiency collapse. Not gradually, but in a rush, leaving you exposed and raw. It's the courageous yet terrifying admission, I cannot. It's saying, out loud or in the silent chambers of your soul, I have exhausted all my options, all my strength, all my wisdom, and I am completely undone. I am weak, and I desperately need you. This isn't weakness in a negative sense. It's the strength of absolute honesty, a truth so potent it resonates directly with the heart of God. It echoes the sentiment of Psalm 34:18, reminding us that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. It's in this brokenness, this unvarnished truth, that a true connection is forged. Then, there's the aspect of surrender, not strategy. Many times when we pray, we come with a plan already in mind. We've thought through the solution, and we're essentially asking God to sign off on our strategy, to bless our preferred outcome. But the true cry? It's a complete letting go of control. It's acknowledging in the very core of your being that a higher power is the only way forward. You're not dictating terms. You're simply placing your shattered pieces into His hands, trusting Him implicitly with the reconstruction. It's releasing the need to orchestrate the outcome, trusting that His ways are higher, His wisdom deeper, and His love more profound than anything you could ever devise. This kind of surrender is incredibly liberating, even in the midst of pain, because it shifts the immense burden of resolution from your weary shoulders to His omnipotent ones. It's the heart crying out, not my will, but yours be done. Not as a resignation, but as a profound act of faith that His will is ultimately better than your own. And what about the language of this cry? It often transcends mere words. Have you ever been in such profound distress that words felt inadequate, hollow, incapable of expressing the turmoil within? This is where the true cry often resides. It can manifest as groans so deep they cannot be uttered, as tears that speak volumes more than any sentence could, as profound silence that holds more weight than 1,000 petitions, or as an intense inner yearning that permeates your very being. It's the Spirit interceding for us with groans that words cannot express, as Romans 8:26 so beautifully describes. It is the intent of the heart that God hears, not just the articulation of the mouth. He doesn't require flowery language or perfect theological precision. He simply desires a heart that is truly reaching, truly seeking, truly yearning for Him in its moment of deepest need. A broken and contrite heart, as Psalm 51:17 teaches us, God will not despise. This is not about performing a ritual. It's about pouring out your soul. This is a stark contrast, isn't it, to transactional prayer or routine religious practice. Many people pray. They go through the motions. They say the words they've learned. They ask for things they desire, almost as if putting in an order. And there is certainly a place for daily conversation with God, for bringing our needs to Him regularly. But few, truly few, allow themselves the profound vulnerability, the complete surrender, the unbridled emotional honesty required to truly cry out. One is a conversation, the other is a desperate plea from a drowning person grasping for salvation. One is a whisper, the other is a scream from the soul. This kind of cry doesn't just seek a solution to a problem, it seeks the very presence of the solution giver. It's not just about what God can do for you, it's about recognizing who He is in your brokenness. So, having understood the profound nature of this cry, this complete unveiling of self, this unreserved surrender and the authentic language of the Spirit, what happens next? What does such an honest, raw, and desperate plea evoke from the heavens? How does this deep soul-level interaction begin to manifest not just in the external world, but perhaps even more powerfully within you? So you've poured out your soul, you've offered that raw, authentic cry from the very core of your being. What happens next? We often look for a grand, immediate external shift, don't we? We expect the mountain to move, the storm to cease, the problem to vanish before our very eyes. But my dear friend, heaven's immediate echo often begins in a far more subtle, yet profoundly powerful way. It resonates within you. Before any divine intervention rearranges the circumstances around you, something transformative starts to stir in the depths of your spirit. It's a shift from the external chaos to an internal calm, a profound reorientation of your inner world. Think about it. The world around you might still be raging. The crisis hasn't magically disappeared. The diagnosis remains unchanged. The financial burden still looms large. Yet an inexplicable calm, what some call the peace paradox, begins to settle within you. It's not a peace born of denial or ignorance of the problem. It's a peace that transcends understanding, a supernatural quietness that settles amidst the very eye of the storm. It's as if a gentle hand is placed upon your turbulent heart, not erasing the storm but guarding your heart and mind right in its midst. You might feel the same pressures, face the same giants, but suddenly, the internal tremor has ceased. Your breath steadies. Your mind, once racing, finds a strange stillness. This isn't an absence of trouble, but the presence of God in the trouble. It's the truth of Psalm 4:8, where the psalmist declares, "In peace I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety." This peace is the first, most tangible sign that your cry has been heard, an intimate assurance that you are not alone in your struggle. Following this wave of peace, or often alongside it, comes an astonishing clarity in the fog. Before you cried out, your mind was likely a whirlwind of confusion, fear, and countless what-ifs. Every path seemed obscured, every decision fraught with peril. But as that cry ascends, and as peace descends, a new perspective can begin to emerge. It's as if a dense spiritual fog lifts, revealing outlines, perhaps even clear pathways, where there was only impenetrable haze before. You might find a sudden discernment, an insight into a situation that eluded you moments ago. A fresh perspective might dawn on you, showing you aspects of your struggle you hadn't considered or opportunities you hadn't seen. It's a moment of illumination, a quiet prompting towards a next step, even if it's just one small step. This isn't always a booming voice from the heavens. More often, it's a gentle nudging, an unshakable inner conviction that guides you forward, much like a lamp for your feet, a light on your path, as Psalm 119:105 beautifully describes. The way isn't entirely clear, but the next step often becomes undeniable. And from this clarity, when you are physically, mentally, and emotionally spent, you might feel a renewed strength in weakness. It's illogical, isn't it? You've given everything, you're at your absolute lowest point. Yet after you cry out, a surge of resilience and inner fortitude begins to flow. This isn't your strength. It's a divine infusion, a spiritual bolstering that allows you to stand firm where you previously crumbled. It's the Lord becoming your strength and your shield, as Psalm 28:7 proclaims. This newfound vigor isn't necessarily physical. It's a deeper spiritual endurance that enables you to face another day, another challenge, with a quiet determination you didn't possess before. You might find yourself saying, "I don't know how, but I will get through this," with a conviction that wasn't your own. This empowering sustenance comes when you fully emptied yourself, creating space for His power to fill you. Perhaps one of the most immediate and profound internal responses is the unburdening. When you truly cry out, you are essentially pouring out your entire load of worry, fear, and despair before God. You are acknowledging that you cannot carry it anymore. And in that act of release, the immense weight that has been crushing your spirit begins to lift. It's a tangible shift, a sense of psychological and spiritual relief that washes over you. You literally cast your cares upon the Lord, and He truly does sustain you, as Psalm 55:22 assures us. The problem itself might still exist, but the burden of it, the oppressive weight that stole your sleep and peace, has been transferred. You feel lighter, freer, more capable of breathing again. This isn't an act of avoidance, but an act of profound trust, acknowledging that there is a God who is big enough, strong enough, and loving enough to carry what you cannot. It's a radical act of faith that unlocks an immediate personal grace. These internal resonances, this profound peace, this emerging clarity, this surprising strength, and this liberating unburdening are not mere emotional responses. They are the initial, undeniable signs that your cry has pierced the heavens and touched the heart of your Creator. They are the tender, immediate ways God responds, not always by changing your circumstances instantly, but by first transforming you from the inside out, preparing you, strengthening you, and assuring you of His presence even before the next phase of His intervention unfolds. This is where the true work begins, preparing the soil of your soul for what is to come. We've just journeyed through those quiet, profound internal shifts that begin to unfold the moment you truly cry out to God. The inexplicable peace, the surprising clarity, the renewed strength from weakness, and that incredible unburdening of your soul. These are heaven's immediate echoes reverberating within your spirit. But now, my friend, we move into the realm of the external, into what happens outside of you, a silent symphony of divine intervention that often plays out in ways far beyond our expectations. It's here that we discover God's response rarely, if ever, fits into our neat human blueprints. We often have a very specific idea of how our problems should be solved, a clear picture of the miracle we are asking for. Yet God, in His infinite wisdom and boundless creativity, consistently chooses the unexpected, the subtly profound, to bring about His will. Sometimes the intervention arrives not with a thunderclap, but through what I like to call human angels. You cry out in desperation, feeling utterly alone, and then, from seemingly nowhere, a person appears. It might be a friend who calls at just the right moment with precisely the right words, a stranger who offers an unexpected kindness that shifts your perspective, or a connection made through circumstances that defy coincidence, suddenly opening a door you thought was forever shut. These aren't just good deeds from good people. These are often divine appointments, orchestrated by a God who heard your cry and moved someone else's heart to be His hands and feet in your life. This help comes in surprising forms, through individuals you might never have considered, bringing resources, comfort, or guidance that you desperately needed, but couldn't have anticipated. It reminds us that God often works through community, through the love and connection we share, showing us that even in our darkest hours, we are truly interconnected and cared for. Then there's the incredible phenomenon of circumstance calibration. You're facing an insurmountable obstacle, a situation that seems fixed and unyielding. You cry out to God, and instead of Him removing the mountain entirely, the mountain itself begins to shift. Doors that were firmly locked suddenly swing open. Obstacles that seemed concrete mysteriously move aside, not always with a dramatic flourish, but often through a series of small, interconnected events that, when viewed in retrospect, clearly point to a divine hand. A regulation changes, a deadline extends, an opposing force softens its stance. These aren't coincidences. They are precisely timed adjustments to the fabric of reality, designed to create a path where there was none. It's the meticulous work of a cosmic clockmaker, recalibrating the very gears of your situation in response to your heartfelt plea. Like the psalmist who proclaimed in Psalm 18, "He sent from on high, He took me, He drew me out of many waters." This form of intervention demonstrates God's sovereign control over every detail, every variable in your life. And what about the times when the answer is not what you wanted, but it's a no that becomes better? This is perhaps one of the hardest forms of divine intervention to embrace in the moment, but one of the most profound in hindsight. You cry out for a specific outcome, convinced it's the only way forward, only to find that door remaining closed. In your disappointment, you might feel unheard, even abandoned. But then, as time unfolds, a new path emerges, a different opportunity arises, one that you never would have chosen, never would have seen had your original request been granted. This redirection, initially painful, turns out to be a pathway to something far superior, something that aligns more perfectly with God's ultimate plan for your life, bringing deeper joy, greater growth, or a more profound purpose than your initial desire could have ever offered. It is in these moments we are reminded that God's perspective is far grander than our own, His vision stretching beyond the immediate horizon of our longing, Sometimes the most powerful intervention comes through what I call the desert bloom effect. You are in a spiritual desert, a period of dryness, barrenness, where resources are scarce and hope is fading. It's in these parched lands that your cry to God becomes particularly piercing. And in response, instead of being immediately transported to an oasis, you discover that the desert itself begins to bloom. Unexpected spiritual growth happens, provisions appear where there was nothing, and your faith deepens in ways it never could have in easier, more comfortable times. This isn't about God sparing you from the desert, it's about Him sustaining you in the desert, transforming the very wilderness into a place of profound encounter and intimate provision. It's in these arid landscapes that our dependence on Him becomes absolute, and His faithfulness shines brightest, cultivating a resilience within us that we wouldn't trade for anything. It's akin to Psalm 23, where even in the valley of the shadow of death, we are assured of His presence and provision. These diverse manifestations of God's response through human angels, circumstance calibration, the redemptive no, and the desert bloom challenge our often limited understanding of how God works. They showcase His infinite ways, His boundless care, and His deep desire to meet us in our deepest needs. Each instance is a piece of a larger, silent symphony, playing out in your life, confirming that your cry has been heard, that your prayer has been answered, though perhaps not in the way you first envisioned. This is not just problem solving, it is an active, loving engagement from the divine, reshaping your world and preparing you for what lies ahead. And these interventions, while bringing resolution to external matters, always serve a deeper purpose. You've witnessed the astonishing ways heaven intervenes, sometimes subtly, sometimes dramatically, always precisely. You've seen the human angels, the calibrated circumstances, the divine redirections, and the desert blooms, each one a testament to a God who hears and responds. These are indeed powerful responses to a genuine cry, bringing about real change in the external landscape of your life. But here's a crucial insight, my friend, one that often gets overlooked in our understandable eagerness for solutions and quick fixes. The true answer to your cry isn't just the problem disappearing. It's not simply about getting what you asked for, or even getting something better than what you asked for. The deepest, most profound outcome of truly crying out to God isn't merely the resolution of a crisis, as impactful as that may be. It is ultimately the radical, undeniable transformation of you. This is the long echo of your desperate plea, resounding not just in the changed circumstances of your life, but fundamentally, irrevocably, within the very core of your being. Think about it. Really ponder this truth. We naturally seek deliverance from pain, from lack, from fear, from the crushing weight of our struggles. And God, in His boundless mercy and infinite compassion, often provides that deliverance, alleviating our burdens and bringing relief. But He is far more than just a cosmic problem solver, a divine vending machine responding to our inputs. He is a master sculptor, an artist of the soul. And every crisis, every desperate cry, every answered prayer is not an isolated event, but a deliberate opportunity for Him to refine, reshape, and recreate you into someone stronger, wiser, and more deeply connected to His heart. What if the true, enduring gift of your struggle wasn't just the eventual relief from the immediate pressure, but the person you become through the arduous journey of crying out and receiving His divine response? This represents a fundamental shift in perspective, moving us from a purely transactional understanding of prayer, where we expect a simple quid pro quo, to a profoundly transformational one, where the journey itself is the prize, the change within us, the ultimate blessing. It's the difference between merely being rescued from the tumultuous floodwaters and learning to walk on those very waters, empowered by faith. One of the most powerful and enduring transformations that emerges from a true cry to God is the deepening of your relationship with Him. Before the crisis, before the desperation forced that cry from your lips, your faith might have been more theoretical, a set of intellectual beliefs, a distant acknowledgement of a higher power. Perhaps it was inherited or based on tradition. But when you are truly at rock bottom, stripped bare of all self-reliance and pretense, and you lay your soul exposed before Him, confessing your utter dependency, and He responds in His myriad, miraculous ways, that intellectual belief transforms into profound, undeniable experiential trust. It becomes an unbreakable bond, forged not in fair-weather piety, but in the crucible of vulnerability and divine faithfulness. You move from merely knowing about God to intimately, personally, and deeply knowing God. It's no longer just a conceptual or theological relationship. It becomes personal, palpable, real, a living connection that resonates in every fiber of your being. You've experienced His tangible presence, His mighty power, His unwavering love in a way that intellectual understanding or theological study alone could never provide. This deep intimacy, born of shared struggle and divine intervention, is far more precious and eternally significant than any material blessing or temporary solution. It fulfills the longing expressed so eloquently in Psalm 42:1. As the deer pants for streams of water, so my soul pants for you, my God. Your soul, once panting for a solution, now pants for the Sustainer Himself, for the source of all life and comfort. Furthermore, surviving and receiving help through crisis, through that raw, desperate cry and the subsequent divine response, builds an unshakable foundation of resilience and wisdom within you. You emerge from the fire not scorched, but refined, carrying lessons that no textbook could ever teach. You gain profound insights into your own intrinsic strength, into God's immutable character, and into the true priorities of life. Insights that only come through passing through the crucible of genuine suffering and seeing divine faithfulness manifest. That battle you fought, that valley you traversed, those agonizing moments of desperate calling and miraculous hearing, they are not just painful chapters in your past, they are foundational stones in the construction of your future, an arsenal of wisdom for the road ahead. They equip you with a spiritual fortitude, a quiet confidence that resonates deep within, whispering, "If God carried me through that, He will certainly carry me through anything that comes next." This isn't naive optimism or wishful thinking. It's seasoned wisdom, tempered by lived experience, allowing you to face future challenges not with paralyzing fear, but with a settled assurance that you are not alone, that you have a helper who has proven himself faithful beyond measure. You become less easily swayed by the capricious winds of change, more deeply rooted in an unchanging eternal truth. Psalm 18:2 declares, "The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. My God is my rock in whom I take refuge, my shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold." You don't just quote that verse, you begin to live that truth. And perhaps most profoundly, moments of deep, authentic crying out to God are often precursors to discovering or profoundly clarifying your purpose and calling in this world. When you are stripped of everything, when your cry is purely for survival or divine direction, God often uses that sacred, vulnerable space to reveal His greater, eternal plan for your life. The suffering you endured, the miraculous deliverance you received, the profound transformation you experienced, these are not just for your benefit alone, though they certainly are that. They often become the very testimony, the very platform, the very wellspring from which your unique contribution to the world will flow. Many individuals who have powerfully impacted others, who have found their deepest meaning and purpose, can trace it back to a point of utter brokenness where they cried out to God and were profoundly changed, not just in their circumstances, but in their very identity. Your past pain, once a source of shame, confusion, or regret, becomes a wellspring of empathy for others, a source of spiritual authority, a beacon of hope for those navigating similar struggles. What seemed like a devastating end becomes a powerful, divine new beginning, leading you directly into the path God intended for you all along, unlocking potentials you never knew you possessed. So when we earnestly ask, what if the true answer to your cry wasn't just the problem disappearing, but you emerging as someone entirely new, transformed by the encounter? We are pointing to the deeper, more enduring spiritual reality at play. This isn't merely about God fixing a temporal issue. It's about Him forging eternal character within you, shaping you for a destiny far grander than you could imagine. It's about elevating your understanding from a transactional relationship where you ask and He delivers, to a transformational journey where He uses every circumstance, every plea, every response to draw you closer, refine your spirit, and align your life with His grand, loving, and redemptive design. This long echo of your cry reverberates through eternity, shaping not just your present but your destiny, preparing you to live a life of deeper meaning, greater impact, and unwavering faith, constantly becoming more of who you were always meant to be in Him. We've walked through the valley of the shadow of despair, felt the ground crumble beneath our feet, experienced the unsettling silence that births a desperate cry. We've unraveled the anatomy of that true cry, not a polite request, but a vulnerable, surrendered outpouring from the soul. And we've marveled at heaven's immediate echoes, the internal peace and strength that descend even before circumstances shift, followed by the silent symphony of divine intervention, moving beyond our expectations to reshape our reality. Most profoundly, we've come to understand that the truest, longest echo of that cry is the transformation it brings within you, deepening your relationship with God, building resilience, and clarifying your purpose. Now the question naturally arises, doesn't it? How do we cultivate this ability to cry out? How do we foster a spiritual environment where such profound breakthroughs become not just moments of crisis, but an ongoing reality in our lives? It's an invitation, my friend, to move beyond merely reacting to despair, to intentionally nurture the soil of your soul for a deeper, more consistent communion with the divine. This isn't about conjuring up false emergencies. It's about giving yourself permission to be authentically human before an infinitely loving God. The first step in cultivating this cry is perhaps the hardest for many of us: giving yourself permission to be broken. We live in a world that champions strength, resilience, and unwavering composure. To admit weakness, to show vulnerability, to confess that you are not okay, feels counterintuitive, even dangerous. Yet it is precisely in this surrender of self-sufficiency that the power of God can truly reside. You don't need to put on a brave face for your Creator. He already knows your every thought, your every fear, your every failing. He sees past the facade you present to others and even to yourself, so why maintain it before Him? This permission to be broken is an act of profound courage, allowing your authentic self, with all its cracks and imperfections, to stand before the one who specializes in mending what is shattered. It echoes the spirit of Psalm 34:17, where it says, "The righteous cry out and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles." But first, there must be that cry, born of acknowledging trouble, not masking it. It's recognizing that your brokenness is not a barrier to His love, but often the very pathway to its deepest experience. Once you grant yourself that permission, the next crucial step is to find your sacred space. This isn't necessarily about a physical location, although a quiet corner or a walk in nature can certainly help. More importantly, it's about creating an internal sanctuary, a designated time and place where you intentionally remove distractions and focus solely on connecting with God. Whether it's the quiet solitude of your room early in the morning, the reflective silence during a commute, or a moment carved out amidst the chaos of your day, the key is intentionality. This space, however it manifests, becomes your confessional, your sanctuary of honesty, the arena where you lay your burdens down. It's where you can truly let go, where you allow your spirit to express its deepest longings without judgment or interruption. Think of David retreating to the wilderness, to caves, to quiet places where he could pour out his soul without inhibition. Your sacred space is where you practice unreserved transparency, where your heart can safely cry out without fear of being unheard or misunderstood. After you cry out, however, there's another crucial, often overlooked dimension to this spiritual dialogue: practicing the pause. We tend to rush to the next thing, to fill the silence, to move on once our petitions have been made. But a true conversation involves listening, doesn't it? After you've poured out your heart, after you've expressed your deepest fears and most urgent needs, learn to linger in the silence. It's in this quiet receptivity that the echoes of heaven begin to resound within you. The answer might not be a booming voice from the clouds. It could be an inner whisper, a profound sense of peace, a sudden clear thought, a verse from Scripture that comes to mind, or even a subtle shift in your perspective. It's an act of faith, trusting that just as He heard your cry, He desires to communicate His response. Psalm 46:10 admonishes us to be still and know that I am God. That stillness, That pause creates the necessary space for you to discern his gentle, guiding voice amidst the clamor of your own thoughts and the world around you. To reinforce this incredible journey and build unwavering faith, consider a powerful, yet simple practice. Journal your journey. Document your cries. Write down the moments of despair, the specific burdens you laid before God. And then, crucially, record the responses, the peace that came, the clarity that emerged, the human angels who appeared, the doors that opened or closed, the internal transformations you experienced. This isn't just about keeping a diary, it's about creating a personal testimony, a living chronicle of God's faithfulness in your life. As you look back, you'll begin to see patterns, to recognize the consistent hand of God moving on your behalf, to develop a deeper sense of his timing and his unique ways of working. This journal becomes a powerful anchor for your faith, a tangible reminder that he is indeed faithful, that he hears, and that he responds. It allows you to track the long echo of your cries, solidifying your belief and preparing you for future moments of desperate need, transforming them into moments of expectant faith. So, don't wait for rock bottom to be the only catalyst for a genuine cry. Cultivate the courage to cry out now in your joys, your fears, your unknowns, your hopes, your every season. Make it a posture of your heart, an ongoing dialogue rather than an emergency broadcast. Recognize that this profound intimacy with God is not reserved for the spiritually elite, but is available to every heart that dares to lay itself bare before him. This is your invitation to breakthrough, to a life lived in constant, powerful communion. As you reflect on these thoughts, I genuinely invite you to share your own stories. How has crying out to God changed your life? What were those moments of profound desperation, and how did heaven respond? Your experience is a powerful testimony to someone else's need.